Hello, everyone. This is your favorite channel, your favorite segment, the Final Voice Show. Today, we take a different dimension on this show. We have a guest for the first time on this show, and we are talking about Africa or West Africa, to be specific, Nigeria. Unemployment in Nigeria is in the international media. It's been said that South Africa, Namibia, and Nigeria have the highest rate of unemployment in the world. Can this be true? What can be done about the unemployment situation in Nigeria? What are the solutions for this problem or challenge in our dear nation, Nigeria? With me here to do the discussion on this topic is my nobleman. Welcome on this show, Mr. Peter.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we also appreciate having you on this show.
Thank you.
So, we're going for a break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the unemployment situation in Nigeria. Who is to help correct this or solve this problem? What can be done? Who are the stakeholders to help solve this situation in the good nation, Nigeria? Keep watching. We'll be right back. This is Mr. Peter right here on the show, the Final Voice. Mr. Peter, you are not from South Africa. You're not from Namibia.
Absolutely.
So we're not going to do about Namibia or South Africa. We're looking at Nigeria. What is your take about the unemployment rate in Nigeria? And you can also talk about how these challenges or situation could be solved or could have a solution.
Well, I'm not an expert, but from a layman's opinion, I think with the recent global unemployment chart, Nigeria, the unemployment rate in Nigeria is at around 33.3%. South Africa tops the chart, and then Namibia, second on the chart, and Nigeria, is third on the chart, which is quite a sad one. The issue of unemployment in Nigeria, has been there for a very, very long time, and it's really it's a sad situation. Before I had the opportunity of coming to Germany to study, I also experienced this unemployment thing after I finished my bachelor's. So it is really a sad one, because a vast population of the Nigerian youth are unemployed. The public service, which is the highest employer of labor, it seems not to be cannot do anything much. And then because of the economic situation, the private sector who is also employing a large population of the people are also not are being are winding up. So it's really a sad situation.
Yeah, we're going for a break. When we come back on the Final Voice segment, we would like Mr. Peter to tell us more about what can be done in his own way or perspective. What could be done so urgently to help solve the unemployment challenge in Nigeria? Keep watching. We'll be right back. Yeah, so we are still on the topic unemployment in Nigeria. What can be done? Whose role and whose duty could let Nigerians end or reduce the unemployment situation? With me here on the show is Mr. Peter. Mr. Peter, before the break, you mentioned the private sector and entrepreneurship in Nigeria. What can be said about the private sector in relation to the government or in, government in the corporate Nigeria? And what can be said about entrepreneurship among the youth in Nigeria?
I think the private sector is also a large employer of labor in Nigeria. But like I said, unfortunately, because of the harsh economic situation, so many private, organizations, laying, their, workers off, and which is a very sad one. So I think it's rests on the shoulder of the government to actually create an enabling environment, stimulus packages for these, private, organizations to be able to create policies that will make them to be able to actually function well. Because if the environment is not enabling, the private organizations cannot function well. And then if you cannot function well, you cannot make profit. And if you cannot make profit, you cannot, service your employees, so to speak. So I think the government should, create policies, packages, incentives, that would, help private sectors to actually, do their businesses well and then make profit. And then in terms of...
but before you move on, okay. So you were talking about the government should invest in providing stimulus packages
absolutely
to the to corporate Nigeria or some businesses and companies in Nigeria to enable them expand their businesses.
Absolutely.
And also employ more Nigerian youth.
Absolutely.
And there should be some policy. The government on its own should have this policy to create this enabling environment
absolutely
for businesses to thrive,
absolutely
to grow well in Nigeria. And this is a win-win situation many a times because when businesses grow, the economy booms.
Absolutely.
So it's the duty of the government to create this environment and also get something from it. It's not as if the government is only giving into the private sector.
Yeah.
But when that policy is created, that enabling environment is given, government stands to benefit.
Because people are employed and then it reduces the
unemployment rate and the economy booms.
Yeah.
Productivity is something
enhanced,
that will be enhanced, as we all know.
Yeah.
So you were about to hit on the entrepreneurship.
Yes, like I said, one of the good things that the government did at the time was actually to introduce entrepreneurship into the university, and then I think the high schools, curriculum, so that students can actually learn how to be independent, when they leave the universities. The end. So, but I think the government has not really invested much, in terms of letting students have practical experience, entrepreneurial experiences, but theoretically, I think it's the entrepreneurship, course is functioning. So I think government should also invest more into such, departments in the university so that students can learn, and they can, start their own businesses, immediately they, leave the universities. They don't have to wait for the government to provide jobs for them. And then I think another thing is the entrepreneurship, thing is to enhance, the university students to be able to be independent, when they leave the universities. So it is very, very important that, and I think another thing that can also be done is, I think the area of most students, when they write their bachelor's thesis, they really, really do not, exploit that avenue, after graduation. Because I know in most Western world, when students write their bachelor's thesis, they tend to, utilize it outside of school.
It becomes a business
It
model.
becomes a business model, that they can actually, a template that even
Yeah.
organizations can, invest in and then
Yeah.
exploit. You understand? So I think the Nigerian government should also equip the universities, or probably the university themselves has to ensure that, students write their bachelor's thesis, well, supervised, and ensure that those theses that they are written are, quality theses that, can be modeled, outside of the university,
Yeah.
and then, invested in and become, business models.
Yeah. So thesis could be modeled. Government can invest in bachelor degree thesis written by students themselves. So right after your university or college, you will have a job,
Absolutely.
or you're on something doing to help Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going for a break. When we come back, Mr. Peter would like to go into something very interesting. This is your Final Voice show. Keep watching. Yeah. This is your favorite Final Voice show. We are still on the unemployment situation in Nigeria and what can be done to solve this challenge in Nigeria. With me on the show is Mr. Peter, and before the show, he said government should give stimulus packages to the private sector to enable the sector employ more youth or people. And also, bachelor degree thesis can be modeled like it's been done elsewhere. Government invest in this, and the universities also make sure that bachelors or graduates write the best of theses or topics, which can be modeled into a business. What else can be done in Nigeria? You are in your agricultural field, and you know
Absolutely.
much about agribusiness and rural development. So, looking at rural development, economics, and international agribusiness, what major thing can be done in Nigeria? To help remedy the situation.
Well, thank you for the question. I think agriculture is a very good business. Looking at Nigeria today, I think about 60%, I don't know, I may not be correct. It's, 60% of the Nigerian, population live in the rural environment. And then the profession of these people, they depend on agriculture, on rural agriculture for their livelihoods. So I think if the government really wants to, solve the unemployment problem, the government has to, invest heavily in agriculture. And Nigeria has a vast, large arable land that is not cultivated. Do you understand? So it's very important that Nigeria should invest heavily in agriculture, turn agriculture into a business, remodel, agriculture, and then make it lucrative, especially for the teeming Nigerian youth. Yeah, because even those who went to the university to study agriculture do not want to go back into the whole and cutlass, agriculture. So it has to be made, modern, like the way it is done elsewhere. It has to be made attractive. The government has to push, capital into it, encourage the youth, create facilities and for infrastructures in the rural environments to make, the youths wants to live there. Once there is light, once there's electricity, once the roads are in the rural areas, the youths want to stay there. Nobody wants to rush to Lagos and other cities to live, because you can have all these infrastructures and the facilities are there, and then there is create the market opportunities for the agricultural products, So it's very important if government would, invest heavily in agriculture. I believe that's one of the key ways that the unemployment rate in Nigeria can be trimmed down, massively.
Yeah, so the Nigerian government should invest in agriculture, make agriculture so lucrative,
Absolutely.
and consider a very effective supply chain, and also improve upon the infrastructure in the
rural areas,
or the agro-producing areas, or where production is so high, so that farmers or producers can produce more and get their goods into the
create market access
in the markets.
Yeah.
I mean, you produce and make sure your goods are actually giving you some profit.
Sure.
So there should be some agro processing factories. I mean, the whole thing should be modeled, or it should be a business.
Sure.
Not just farmers produce and they go to the market and the food or the produce get rotten. There should be some factories to turn these raw materials into end products. And that mentality of exporting goods to other countries for money could be checked. Why don't we export finished products? Why can't Africa export finished products so that we can add more, we can
value
earn more?
chains, exactly.
So we consider the value chain and the supply chains and add value to our own raw materials before we sell them to the other part of the world.
Absolutely.
So invest in agriculture, make agriculture so lucrative for the people of Nigeria. This is where we end today's show. I will come your way with a different topic, but for now, this is how we say goodbye to you watching us. Thank you for watching.